In this video, we will show you how to replace your leaf spring shackle on this Dodge Dakota. This will be located as part of the rear suspension. Let's get into it. Okay friends, let's get started on our job. The first thing you'll have to do is lower your spare tire. So with that said, make your way to the passenger side rear seat, lift it up, and locate the jack with the jack handle. We'll pop this out of place. Now we can remove this. And let's get this to the back of the vehicle. Now once you open up your kit, you'll find that you have 3 of the same matching rods. We're going to connect each of them together. Now we'll put the slotted side straight inside of this slot of the bumper. If you were to look all the way inside this area, you'll find that you have a square notch that this will fit directly onto. Once you have that on there, continue on to the jack handle. Lower your spare tire. Now, as far as lowering the spare tire, you don't have to fully remove it. We just have it out of the way so we can gain access to everywhere we need to go, right down along the bottom here and up along the top of the frame. Now with that said, continue on by safely raising and supporting the vehicle with the suspension hanging. Before we start removing the shackle, let's make our way over to the rear differential. It's important to make sure you put something underneath the differential tube so you can raise or lower it as needed. What we'll do at this point is apply a little bit of pressure underneath this tube. Once you've done that, we'll continue on to the lower shock bolt. Use an 18mm on either side. Remove the nut and the mounting bolt. Inspect all of your mounting hardware as you remove it. Replace it as necessary. Now that we have the lower shock broken free from the rear differential, let's make our way to the lower shackle mounting bolt. To start removing the lower mounting bolt, we'll use a T55 Torx head socket right on the bolt head. Holding it in place, continue on along the outside to remove your 21mm nut. Now we can start breaking the mounting bolt free from the bushing on the shackle. It's common for them to be stuck together with rust. Once we have the nut off of there, we'll continue on with our T55 and try to turn the mounting bolt. It's common to find that as you try to turn this, it feels as though it wants to spin, but it really gets caught. That's generally because the bolt itself is stuck inside the metal aspect of the bushing. If the metal was to break free from the rubber area of the bushing inside, you're going to have to continue on by cutting the bolt out of this area, which is what we will have to do. Use a pry bar to break this free. The next thing we'll do is start raising up the differential on the side that we're working on. We want to try to make it so the top area of that leaf spring shackle comes up high enough for us to work on. Once you have it high enough, continue with your T55 Torx head socket. We're going to come directly up and over the frame. If you have to, you can use an extension to make sure you can get out to this point. We'll hold that bolt head still and remove our 21mm nut. Now we're going to start removing this upper bolt. Once again, it's common for the bolt to be stuck in the metal aspect of the bushing. If that's the case, you could try to press it out with a ball joint press. Let's start getting this out of here. Okay friends, let's get ready to install our brand new shackle. Before we put it in place, remove your mounting hardware. Now let's bring this up and put it over the bushing on the leaf spring. We'll take one of our brand new bolts and slide that right on through the center. Start on the mounting nut, but leave it loose. Now we can bring this down to the area on the frame where it needs to mount as well. The next thing we'll do is start lowering this down so we can align the shackle with the proper area on the spring. Now once we have this lined up in the proper positioning, continue on with a crayon or marker of some sort. We want to try to mark an area on the shackle and the leaf spring so we know exactly where it needs to line up when we go to install this. Right about there. Now we can start jacking this back up so we can tighten that top bolt. To tighten this, we'll use a 10mm Allen head socket with an extension. Put it right on that bolt head, holding it in place. This is right up above the frame. Now once we have that on there, we'll continue on to our 21mm nut. While we snug this, once again, we want to make sure that we have the shackle in the proper positioning. You don't want to leave it hanging like this. We'll get this close for now. Once you have this bottomed out, torque it to 125 foot-pounds. That's torqued. Now that we have that torqued, let's continue by lowering the rear differential to align the shackle with the frame. Now we can put in our lower bolt. Start on our mounting nut. The next thing we want to do is raise up our differential again, so we essentially put the vehicle in ride height position before we torque this mounting bolt. That's good. Now it's time to make our way back to the rear shock. Let's start adjusting the differential so it matches up with the shock. Hold this in place with our 18mm. Torque this to 70 foot-pounds. Now we can start putting up our spare tire. Carefully put your tool in through this slot here. Once you have it connected, turn it clockwise to start raising that spare tire. Let's make sure that spare tire is nice and tight underneath the vehicle. Assuming that's secure, remove your jack tool. Let's put our tools away. Let's get this back in the vehicle. Okay friends, we showed you how to replace one side of your rear leaf spring shackle. The process would be the exact same thing for both sides. Aside from that, take your vehicle for a road test, make sure you don't hear any funny noises, and get yourself safely down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.